You now have an understanding of how your layout, view IDs, and activity work together to create an app. In the rest of this lesson, I'm going to cover important concepts about how to make your app more efficient in respect to how long it takes for your app to run and how much space on the device it uses. But for now, let's go ahead and check back in with some of our course alums for some final words of wisdom.
So whenever I would ever run into an issue while developing an Android app, my first thing is to always struggle with it for a bit. There is a time limit that I put on myself to struggle, but I always know that if I struggle with the problem for a little bit, then I'm going to learn more from that than if I were just immediately go and research and find out what was going on.
The syntax was a bit different, being with an R background, so there were a lot of errors that you'd get when you're trying to launch your app, and I had to read through the logcat, which is also very complicated. So you had to go to Stack Overflow and understand what exactly you find. It's just a very small thing that you just maybe it's a spacing or it's something small, but you have to read through a long logcat. So that was one of the things that I found challenging.
There are also times when the problem may ring a bell, and so I will get back to the course and see if there's something related that will apply to my case.
And surprisingly enough, the Android documentation is pretty amazing. There's a lot of great examples in there, code samples, and just ways to implement probably what my issue was and to fix it. And so the documentation is also an amazing resource. Android seems like it's constantly evolving, and there is a lot to learn. It seems like there's new techniques and tricks and libraries to work with that are coming out on a monthly basis. So it is a very interesting community and framework to be working in.
You could not send your project unless it's error-free. So you learn it. The first times it was challenging, but towards the end, I got to understand where the errors were and where you had to correct.
I succeeded finding a job even before finishing the nano-degree program. The company I started working for and I'm currently working for is familiar with Udacity and its nano-degree programs. So it was a huge plus for them that I was enrolled to a nano-degree.
To change and to adapt, you have to learn new things. You have to improve on what you had in the past. You can't just be stagnant with a skill. I had to adapt and include technology in my research, because in order for it to be applicable and to impact more people, it's technology that is now doing the greatest impact.
To never stop learning. That's one thing that Udacity always pushes, and that's one thing that I think that this course was great for, is that it kind of lays that foundation for you, but there is so much more out there, and there's just so much to learn. That's what's going to make you a better developer, and to be able to continue to be better at your craft is to just never stop learning, and that's what I love about Android.